Suzanne here from Holistic Wellbeing. Now, so many of you have been asking me recently, would I do some videos on some of the recipes that I'm publishing on our newsletter and our website? So I thought I'd give it a go for you and see how I get on. Now, those of you who know me will know that I'm far more comfortable behind the camera photographing wildlife than what I am in front of the camera. So please be kind, because I've no idea how this is going to go. Okay, so what I'd like to share with you is a recipe on wild garlic pesto. Now, this morning I got up early, left the camera behind because I knew full well if I took it with me that I wouldn't concentrate on the task in hand, and actually I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to find any wild garlic. I am rather late in the season. We are sort of heading towards mid-May, but because the season seems to be so behind at the minute, or the months should I say, are so behind at the minute, I was really fortunate to find some young garlic leaves and some flowers that are still in bud. Those I'll be using in another recipe for you on another video. But let me show you what I managed to gather this morning. Okay, so hopefully you can see the basket here. I've got some wonderful, really young wild garlic leaves, really nice and fresh here. Some of the unopened buds that I found here, and I've also picked a couple of these beautiful flower heads as well. These are absolutely gorgeous in salads. They've got a beautiful peppery taste, and you can just simply pick those off and sprinkle them in, and like I say, it's an absolutely wonderful flavour. One thing I really like to ask you is that if you are going foraging, that you do forage responsibly and that you only take a small amount, just what you need, and that you spread that out over an area, so you're not taking everything off just one plant. We need to allow that time for that plant to recover, and imagine if everybody else is going out there and doing exactly the same thing. We do need to make sure that what we take can regenerate itself, and it's going to be here for many, many years to come. All right, so the next thing I need to do is give these leaves a wash, and I'm going to do this in solution of 1 part vinegar to 2 parts water. It's homemade vinegar, citrus vinegar, and I'll talk about that in another I'll talk about that in another video and show you how I make the citrus vinegar. I do use a lot of lemons, oranges, limes in cooking, so rather than throwing them away, some of them do go to the compost heap. But I do like to make use of them in other ways as well. And making your own natural cleaning products is just amazing. It really is, believe me. I'm going to take these over to the sink. I'm going to weigh out first. I want about 150 grams of these wild garlic leaves for the recipe that we're going to go on to. And then I'm going to take you over to the sink with me, and I'm going to show you how I give them a good old spray down. Okay, so hopefully you can see this now. I've got a bowl full of the wild garlic leaves that I picked. I'm just having a little look through them here. I did end up with a dandelion leaf, and that's absolutely fine. Dandelion leaves are really nutritious anyway, so that can stay in. However, there are a couple of other plants that you really do need to look out for if you are foraging for wild garlic. Now, I haven't got examples of them, so I do urge you to look these up online. Make sure you know exactly what you're picking. One of the plants that can be mistaken for wild garlic is something that's called lords and ladies. Now, apparently if you eat those, and I've never tried it myself, I have no intention of trying it either, it will give you a sensation of having 100 paper cuts in your mouth. That's something I'm sure we all want to avoid. The other one as well that is highly poisonous is lily of the valley. As I tell you about that, what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to start spraying these leaves here. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a 1/3 part vinegar to 2/3 water. And I'm just going to spray the leaves. I'm just going to give them a really, really good dousing. And this will get rid of any nasties that might be on here. I don't mean insects, love insects. If I see any of those, they will always get rescued. So I'm just saturating the leaves with the vinegar mix. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them there soaking for around about 10 minutes. And then what I'll do is I'll rinse them off before continuing with the recipe. I didn't quite finish telling you about the plants that are to be careful about. So we've got lords and ladies. I do recommend that you look those up online so you become familiar with the shape of the leaves. They are considerably different to wild garlic. However, they may be growing in and amongst, and you might inadvertently pick them. The other one that I was mentioning was lily of the valley. Now that really is a highly poisonous plant. You might be familiar with the smell, but you really don't want to be going anywhere near that as far as edibles go. Again, I'm going to ask you to look that up online. What you will find is that it has 2 leaves to one stem, whereas wild garlic just has 1 leaf to its stem. Here we are. If I can grab an example for you, just on the wild garlic, 1 leaf to 1 stem here, and it's got an unmistakable scent of garlic. So just rub the leaves, just crush the leaves a little bit, and it's without doubt that is wild garlic. Bluebells are another one to watch out for. Hopefully you're more familiar with bluebells. Those leaves tend to be very thin, rather than as wide as what the wild garlic is. Please do be careful, because of course bluebells are poisonous as well. If you're in any doubt, please don't forage. Get yourself a good book. Talk to as many foragers as you can, go out with them, get to know what you are picking, and that way everybody will stay safe. Right, I'm going to show you now what else is needed to make the wild garlic pesto. As the vinegar solution is doing its job cleansing those leaves, I've taken that opportunity to prepare the rest of the ingredients, and here I've got 50 grams of grated parmesan cheese. You can of course use vegan cheese if you wish. Usually you would use pine nuts in a pesto, but actually I've not got any pine nuts. I'm not due to go to the shops for a while, but what I do have is some cashews, and I absolutely adore cashews. So here I've chopped up 50 grams of cashew nuts, a few extra out here for nibbling as we go along. And before I chop them up, what I did, I popped them into a dry frying pan and I gently toasted them. So you do that over a low heat, constantly stirring them so that they don't catch and that they don't burn. I've also got some lemon here. I'll give a squeeze of a lemon in there, so you use lemon just to taste. And at the back here we've got some olive oil as well. All right, the next thing we need to do now is to blitz up those cleaned leaves. I'm going to give them a rinse in fresh water, get rid of that vinegar. We don't want the vinegar flavour within the pesto. So I'm going to head off now. I'm going to give those a good old rinse, and I shall be back with my ancient food processor to give them a good blitz. I've washed the leaves, rinsed them off really well now to get rid of any vinegar that's on there, because we don't want that vinegary taste. I've dried as much of them as I possibly could using a salad spinner, giving that a really good whiz round, getting rid of any excess water. I've packed them into my ancient blender now, and I'm going to start to whiz them up, slowly adding oil. Now, you may see other recipes that tell you to add the parmesan cheese and the nuts in at the same time. Personally, I like to leave them to fold them in after, so I've got a little bit of texture there, and it just seems to, well, it works better for me anyway. So you've just got to try and see what is right for you. Right, let's give it a go. Now I do have to hold on to this blender because it is broken, and if I don't, then it might end up like a helicopter whizzing up all around the kitchen, so we don't want that either, do we? Cover your ears just in case I can't do anything with the sound. just need to give it a little pad down there to get the stuff that's round the sides blended in as well. I've used 150 ml of oil, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, so 150 grams of the wild garlic. Let's give it another whiz. I'm going to give it another pat down as well. And it smells absolutely divine. It really does. All right, that looks about ready to me. So I'm going to pop this into a bowl now. Let's just give that a good scrape out. The leaves actually look on second glance a little bit, well, they could be better chopped, I feel. So I'm probably going to whiz that through again and just get them a little better chop for you. So bear with me and I'll be right back. I eventually managed to get the food processor to do the job that it was meant to do. It's taken a while. You can of course use pestle and mortar, and I think in this instance pestle and mortar would have been far quicker. But there you go. Maybe I should put a new blender on my Christmas list. You never know. Right, let me show you where we've got to so far. Okay. So here we have the garlic leaves, 150 grams blended with 150 grams of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add a sprinkle of salt. I particularly like Maldon salt. It just has a wonderful flavour to it. If you've not tried it, I really recommend that you do. You'll never go back to normal salt again after trying that, I can assure you. And I'm going to start to blend in the parmesan now. So I'm just going to give that a good stir in. That's going in nicely. I'm going to add the dry toasted cashew nuts. So there's 50 grams of parmesan, 50 grams of the cashew nut. I will put a link to the recipe on our website so you don't have to remember. Well, I think a little squeeze of lemon juice, that just cuts through the oil. Then I'm going to have a little taste. Beautiful. Tiny little bit more salt, not a great deal. You'll find that Maldon sea salt isn't as salty as normal salt, as daft as that might sound. A little bit more lemon juice. Get rid of that spoon, no double dipping people, okay? Let's give it another stir through. Another taste. Always the best bit. That is delicious. And personally, I love the crunchiness of the nuts in there. The parmesan just brings the flavour out amazingly. So I'm going to decant it now in a sterilised jar. It's usually where I make a load of mess. I do like to create, but I seem to create havoc more than anything else. It can be as though a whirlwind has gone through the house by the time I've finished. Okay, just need to leave a little bit of headspace there. Let's give it a little bit of a clean. And there we have wild garlic pesto. Really simple, really easy to make, absolutely delicious, and real food. Okay everyone, so I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've found it useful. Like I say, it really is easy and delicious. I don't know what's going on behind me. There is obviously something going on. Looks like Jonathan is sneaking into the kitchen. What are you doing?
Just getting a cracker.
Right, okay.
What's that?
It's garlic. It's wild garlic pesto.
All right, go on, slap some on there then.
The taste test. There you go. See what he thinks.
Mmm.
You like that?
Actually, that's really nice, yeah.
Very good.
Might be coming back for some more of that.
Brilliant.
Okay.
All right. It's got the Jonathan Halstead seal of approval, so it can't be bad. All right, everyone. Take care, and if you've enjoyed this, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, and as I've said, if you like it, then I'll have a go at doing a few more for you. All right, take care now. Bye, and remember, be kind always.